This is a Transportation TV News update. I'm Tony Dorsey reporting. The American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials is one of 27 transportation industry and labor organizations to sign a letter this week urging lawmakers to ensure climate and energy legislation retains the principle established back in the 1950s, dedicating revenues derived from transportation motor fuels to improving the nation's highway and public transportation systems. The CEOs of the organizations, ranging from transit to bicyclists, construction unions, and civil engineers, signed the letters to Senators John Kerry, Democrat from Massachusetts, Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina, and Joseph Lieberman, Independent from Connecticut. The three senators are currently negotiating legislation that reportedly may include a carbon tax on gasoline that could be passed on to drivers when they purchase motor fuels. One proposal would funnel the revenue generated by the tax into clean energy research or subsidies for hybrid cars and not into the Federal Highway Trust Fund. The April 2nd letter reads, "Our surface transportation system faces monumental challenges. The needs of our roads and transit systems far exceed current investment levels. The U.S. Department of Transportation estimates that more than $30 billion per year of new investment is needed simply to maintain our highways, bridges, and transit systems in their current state of repair, and $75 billion of new investment is needed annually to improve conditions and performance." The letter states that new fees placed on transportation fuels should be dedicated to the Highway Trust Fund and invested along with other surface transportation funds under a multi-year highway and transit authorization bill. Any proposal to divert user fees from motor fuels while our roads, bridges, and transit systems are neglected is not sound policy.
It'll virtually guarantee that the highway program and transit programs 2 years from now are cut either by 1/3 or 1/2, somewhere in that range, and that they will limp along at no better than that for the next 5 years. It will be devastating to the economy, to mobility in this country. It just can't happen.
Senators Lieberman, Kerry, and Graham also received a letter this week signed by 8 of their Senate colleagues concerned about the climate and energy bill. Led by Democratic Senators Tom Carper of Delaware and Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania, the group of 8 wrote, "We're concerned that in addition to realizing insufficient transportation emissions reductions, your legislation may not invest revenue generated from the transportation sector into our crumbling infrastructure." There was no reaction to either letters from the trio of senators. Speculation is their climate and energy bill could be released on Earth Day, Thursday, April 22nd. Transportation TV will be right back after this message.
The America's Transportation Awards 2010 competition is underway.
The best state transportation projects to be judged in 4 categories: on time, under budget, innovative management, and projects funded by economic recovery.
2 national awards and thousands in cash are on the line.
America's Transportation Awards 2010, sponsored by AASHTO, AAA, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Entry deadline, May 10th, 2010.
AmericasTransportationAward.org. Enter today. In other news this week, Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell announced he will call for a special session of the state legislature to discuss replacing $472 million in annual transportation funding now that the federal government has rejected the state's plan to toll Interstate 80. In a statement, Governor Rendell said, "The people of Pennsylvania understand there is no free ride. They know if you want safe bridges, good roads, and potholes eliminated, you cannot wait for the pothole ferry to do it. You've got to pay for it." Meanwhile, in Columbus, Ohio on Wednesday, Governor Ted Strickland officially kicked off what is anticipated to be the largest construction season in state history. Ohio DOT officials expect to award more than $2 billion in transportation construction projects, outnumbering investments in past seasons by more than 30%. ODOT and its local transportation partners will have more than 1,600 projects under construction this year, including more than 130 interstate projects, 300 resurfacing pavement upgrade projects, 290 bridge and culvert modernizations, 30 pedestrian and bikeway improvements, and 7 maritime projects at Ohio's water ports along the Ohio River and Lake Erie. And finally, Kansas DOT is on video, offering internet users in the state a new perspective on transportation problems like potholes and the connection they have to funding. In the video, which was posted on YouTube this week, KDOT uses a combination of still photographs, charts, and video to make their case. In an interview with the Associated Press, Kansas Transportation Secretary Deb Miller said the thinking behind the video was to illustrate the impact of the $257 million in highway spending cuts during the past year. The legislature will consider an $8 billion transportation plan when it returns to the state capitol April 28th. Use this link to watch the KDOT video. That's the Transportation News Update. I'm Tony Dorsey reporting.